She will be walking in. I hope that doesn't disturb you. Would you care for a chair?
No, I'm okay.
You can stand up.
Thank you for coming. Whenever you're comfortable, you may begin.
Hello. I was born during the Renaissance, 1452 to 1519. New Florence, Italy. When the realistic printing press was invented, the realistic drawings were made and the printing press was invented.
What do you mean a printing press?
Like, do you know how right now we have lots of different kinds of printers?
Mm-hmm.
The printers were invented then.
You mean typewriters?
No, the printers. So before you couldn't copy anything. So it all had to be handwritten. So it was the printing press. You might be interested in what I did. I was a painter for the Mona Lisa, and she's a famous painting that I did in 1504. It's pretty cool because it has the hands and pictures, which most people didn't do. Most painters didn't do. And it has a mysterious smile. Some people thought she was laughing and some people said she was sad. I guess only I know. Oh, and then the eyes. If you turn your head this way, she'll still be looking at you. I was also a painter of the Last Supper, and then you might be wondering about my sketches. I had 5,000 pages in my sketchbook, and all my notes were written backwards because most of my inventions were and I didn't want them to get in the wrong hands of people. And I drew sketches of tanks, like submarines and bicycles and cars and machine guns and tanks. And this is one of my sketches that I did of a horse that I was planning on making. But it didn't work out. The French attacked, and they used my clay model for archery practice. And I had fled because of the French attack. And I'm interested in science. This is a picture of sort of my anatomy things that I did.
Oh, could we look at those pictures a bit more? Your sketches are amazing.
You can pass it around.
Why don't you just hold them up, mystery guest, because you have other things in that book. Maybe at the end you can pass it around.
Gorgeous.
I was also an inventor. I invented a water-operated alarm clock. What? That sprayed water on your face at the time that I was supposed to wake up because I had a hard time waking up. inventions of bicycles and the flying machine. I was an engineer too. And I drew a sketch of this wheel, this water wheel. Of for me to invent.
A water wheel?
And I also studied arches in 1494. You might be wondering about my personality. This is my self-portrait.
How do you make a self-portrait? Like, you can't, like, when you're looking in a mirror? Or, like, what, you can look at that?
Well, you know how you know what you look like?
Yeah, but you might forget, like, if you forget something, how are you going to remember it? Like, and I couldn't sketch my face by
You probably could. Sketch your face. No, it just takes a lot of memory, doesn't it? He had a great memory.
Yeah.
just thinking weird.
Well, then how did you do yourself?
We use mirrors.
Well, he probably used his, he's kind of, you know.
That's what I was asking. Did you use a mirror? I was just using
We don't
Well,
really.
he probably just used the mirror. You're right, Ron. But they didn't have those kinds of glass mirrors back then, so they probably looked at his face in the water. That was
Really?
actually the mirror back then, and water the mirrors. I questioned a lot of things too. I was a great questioner and a great observer. I also got distracted easily and was a vegetarian.
Keep going, honey. Keep going.
And I thought experimenting was important.
Experiment.
I also did my work. I worked with Roadshow on the baptism of Christ.
Keep going, honey.
And lots of other paintings.
Sit down, princess.
I worked for the Duke of Milan. And that's when I figured, I thought I did my course. And the French attack, it used my clay model for also that. I have been working on it for 5 years. I had to leave the floor in Italy. And I painted my Mona Lisa. And then in my last years, I drew inventions and machines. And I lived in a big house supported by King Francis I of France. You might be wondering who I influenced. I influenced Michelangelo. What, Sammy?
Are you Leonardo?
Hold on. I don't know that he was offering to taking guesses. Yes, remember, people are writing down their guesses and their evidence so our guests can keep going.
I influenced Michelangelo, Raphael, and Botticelli.
Go ahead.
What?
Is it okay if we ask questions when you're finished? Please indicate when you're finished giving us information about your life and revealing yourself to us. And then I think we have people that are bursting to ask questions when you are finished.
I think I can take questions now. Sarah, straight up Vinci.
Well, these are questions. These aren't guesses. Okay.
Jordan.
Did you write backwards?
Yes.
And I didn't quite understand that.
Because he didn't write with this hand, he wrote with the other hand.
Let our expert, let's let the person himself. So tell us a little bit about, you wrote backwards, and how could you read it?
Because most of my inventions were the war. And I didn't want it to get into the wrong hands.
What do you mean in the wrong hands?
Like, let's say that we needed it to attack the French. Let's say after the French found it and read it.
Oh.
And then use the invention for them.
Was anybody able to read your backwards writing? How would one decipher that?
Well, the secret is that I folded it up to a
What was that?
mirror.
You held it up to a mirror. Okay, so that's how you did it. Okay, interesting. It's one theory. Oh, interesting. Oh, I didn't know. Nathaniel, you had your hand raised for a question? Okay, because these are questions. Oh, yes.
I thought it was guesses and questions.
Just questions.
Oh, Sam.
Did most of your inventions fail?
Some of them did, but most of the inventions, well, like you know what a tank is right now, right? And a submarine. So, but most of those things were created at least 100 years after I died.
Really?
Yes. So actually, another person brought it over and said, "Ooh, well, there's this and this," and they did almost exactly what I did, but it was easier for them because more people knew more things were known. And so it was easier for them to put it together because most of them could just look at a few books and say, oh, well, I can just put this and this together to make a cake.